I reckon that's enough internet for the week. Welcome back to the I Reckon podcast.
I reckon. So, coming to you from the world headquarters of Tandler's Tallow.
Yes.
Clean that hits hard.
Yes.
From beautiful Aberdeen, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Yeah. So if you're just here for the podcast, which you're probably not, you don't know that I make tallow soap. And the tallow soap's the reason that we got all this stuff to be able to do the podcast, and we record out of our shop every week. So if you're interested in learning more, head to tandlerstallow.com. I'll put the link in the description. All the things that a good influencer is supposed to do.
There you go.
Yeah. What do you think of our background lighting, Dad?
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I keep kicking it. There we go.
All right.
I think it's nice. I think
We're
it's
making
better.
improvements every week.
Yeah, I think it's better than the plain wall. Maybe we'll get some flags back here. He's making animals for those of us just listening. We can't have nothing nice.
No.
So, title of the episode, I reckon that's enough internet for the week. I think this is a recurring segment. We're not going to do it every week, but I think we'll come back to it.
Okay.
And what it is we're both coming to the table with things that we saw on the internet that sparked our interest. And we have very different algorithms, Dad and I. So results may vary.
Contents may settle during shipping.
Yeah. So I'll kick us off.
All right. Let's go.
It's been a cold week here in North Carolina.
It has.
The coldest one so far. I think it'll be a colder winter
I hope so.
than last year.
We've gotten down. There was frost last night at the house.
Yeah.
And for those of you guys, I mean, we're about a week ahead of when you'll see this. So last night was Halloween, and there was a little bit of frost at the house, and I don't remember there being frost this early last year.
No,
So,
and then the year before that, it was like
I mean, we were in
rainy.
shorts all the way to Thanksgiving. So.
Yeah, exactly. So if that's what the weather is like down south, it must be getting cold up north. I haven't checked.
Yeah.
And that might explain some of the craziness that we have going on.
The cold will do that to you. Make you make some strange decisions.
With our northern brethren, starting off in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Are you following the mayoral race out there?
Yeah, a little bit. I know that there is a non-native born person running for mayor of Minneapolis whose views and politics differ greatly from mine, I think. So.
Yeah, he went viral. I guess he was holding a little rally up there, and he was waving. It's a big Somali community in Minneapolis, and so he's waving a Somali flag, and he's speaking Arabic. I guess that's what they speak there. I don't know. It sounds like Arabic to me.
I think it's actually Somali. I think.
Let us know in the comments if we're getting this wrong.
Yeah,
he's
right.
not speaking English, but
No,
our
he's not.
homies on Twitter translated for us, and he called basically for like loyalty to Somalia. He did have an American flag behind
In the
him.
background. Yeah, I saw that.
It was in the background. Everything else was Somali flags. And so he's telling them, I need your vote and all this stuff. And then he's obviously Muslim. And then we've got the Muslim candidate Zoran Mamdani
From
running
New York.
in New York. And I think this is really interesting. Personal view here. Islam's a pretty political religion.
It's very intertied. Their politics and their religious beliefs are one and the same. They're intertied. You don't get one without the other.
Right. And they're called to. You hear a lot of imams in these cities calling people to run for office and calling for, all this stuff. And I guess I don't blame them. I think it is interesting to leave a Muslim country for a Western Christian country, and then try to fundamentally change the value system and the political system within that country.
I think the question that I don't ever hear asked is, what caused you to leave the country you were born in? Right? Was it oppression? Was it you didn't agree with the way the government was being run, or you wanted more opportunity? And then you come. I never hear anybody say what made them leave, but then you come here, and sometimes it seems like you want to turn this place into the exact same place that you left. And I'm all for legal immigration. I'm all for the great American melting pot, but you have to assimilate. You have to adopt our views. You have to adopt our form of government. You have to respect our form of government. You have to embrace our freedoms. You can't come over here for the milk and honey and that this country can provide, and then, in the next breath, try to turn it into some form of the country that you just left. Right? That's not what we want.
Yeah, and I forget who it was, said something really interesting. There's kind of a choice you have to make as a society. Do you want this melting pot of cultures? Do you want, people from different religions to hold office, people that weren't born in the United States to hold office? So really lax on the assimilation portion. And you can make a good argument for that. I think reasonable people can argue for that, but you have to have a really tight immigration system in order to keep that sustainable. If you want a more relaxed immigration system because, send us, you're hungry, you're poor, whatever, then you need to make some serious efforts at assimilation. Otherwise, the wheels are going to fall off the wagon.
Yeah, it could. We talk about different religions running for political office in the United States, and I'm all for the Constitution. I'm all for freedom of religion. So much to the point that as long as your religion is not trying to topple our government, right? If your religion is trying to topple our government, I don't know where the line's drawn, but we got to draw it somewhere. And it wasn't all that long ago. It was the 60s, right? When President Kennedy was the first Catholic president that the country ever had, and there were a lot of people up in arms about the fact that a Catholic could become president. And, last I looked, I don't remember the Catholics trying to destroy buildings or commit terrorist attacks in the States.
Yeah.
Right? In the States.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, you can't have a reconquista without a conquista. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, if we could only go back to that time. Remember when we got all pissed off because Obama wore a tan suit? I mean, it just...
I missed that one.
Oh, you must...
I didn't get enough internet that week.
I think you were busy.
I may have been.
You might have been busy in Iraq. Yeah, you weren't even here for that. No, but we think about the things that we used to have serious conversations about, and it really seems so far and away now. And separation of church and state, I think, means different things to different people. To me, what it means is that you're free to practice whatever religion that you want in 100%. This country. I don't think that it means that we are not fundamentally a Christian nation.
No, we were founded on Judeo-Christian values. We are a Christian nation. In God we trust is on our currency.
It's in all of our founding documents.
It's in all of our founding documents.
The rights that people have when they set foot on American soil,
they're granted by God. I mean,
that's the view of the United States. That's the
exactly how we look at it, right? They're inalienable rights that were bestowed upon us by our Creator. Mm-hmm. That was the mind frame. I think that that was the lens that the founding fathers, crafted our Constitution through.
Yeah, morally, the United States was founded on third base because we had centuries of Christianity that we founded our country upon. That's the moral basis. And I wouldn't have a problem with Muslims running for political office. I don't know that I do fundamentally. I do have a problem with a lot of the ones that we're seeing crop up.
I don't, if you're an American, I don't care what religion you practice, right? But you have to be an American first.
Exactly.
Right? And one of the things that makes the country great is everybody has an opportunity to serve. I won't say lead because I don't like to use the word lead when we talk about our elected officials, right? Sure. It should be service, right? It should be service. You're serving your constituents.
Right.
And if you don't look at it, all of your constituents, right? And if you don't look at it that way, you're kind of you're slanted against what I believe. You're not up there to serve the interest of Somalia. You're not up there to serve the interest of, pick a country. You're there to serve the constituents and do what's best for the government at the level in which you've been elected office. And, I don't care what your religion is, but you got to be American first.
Yeah, and something that, I see a lot of Christian representatives do is speak out against Islamophobia, speak out against anti-Semitism. So I see Christian politicians protecting other groups. I don't see any Muslim political hopefuls or, political representatives speaking out against violence against Christians. What's going on in Nigeria right now?
You don't hear about that.
I don't hear a lot of
I'm not even up on it
anti-Christian
because it's not-
sentiment.
That's not like a headline grabbing news article if you're looking across the internet and trying to figure out what's going on around you.
You got to dig for that story.
You got to really go after that one. So.
Yeah. So that's really unique. So we'll blame it on the cold, and hopefully on Tuesday everybody comes to their senses.
Regardless of who you're going to vote for, go vote. There's a lot of great Americans that sacrificed everything they had to make sure that right was protected for you. So execute your civic responsibility and go cast your ballot. But don't do it uneducated. Educate yourself. Look at both sides. Look at the side that you are for, and look at the side that you're against, and weigh those pros and cons, and listen not only to what they're saying, but watch what they're doing, and based upon that, cast your ballot. But the important thing is you get out there and you exercise that right, and you make your voice heard through the ballot box.
Absolutely. And speaking of voting, Kamala Harris was interviewed and says that she thinks that the voting age should be lowered to 16.
Why? I mean, why?
So here's what she said.
Okay.
What she said this was all through the lens of climate change. And she said that young people have lived their entire lives in the lens of the climate crisis, as she calls it. And so she thinks that they should be able to vote because their lives are so largely impacted by it. Now, what I think she means is, we saw a lot of college aged kids. We'll call them kids because they're younger than us.
Yeah.
18 to 24 shift heavily toward the GOP in the 2024 election. And so for a long time, when people were asking why all this uncontrolled immigration under Democrat presidents, because they've been in office for the most part for the last 20 years. I think we're at 6 years of a Republican president, if you want to round up for Trump. But Obama did 8, Biden did 4. So then that'll be 12. So not 20.
Second Bush did 8.
Right.
First Bush did 4.
So if you look at the last from Obama on,
get the dates right so
I know.
It fits your narrative.
If you
Hey,
my notes are on the ground, damn it.
You're going to see it. Well, you don't agree on everything, so.
From 2008 on, which is nearly 20 years off. 18.
Or
vast majority Democrat president. Majority Democrat president.
Okay.
Okay. We found our line where we agree.
Okay.
Immigration crisis.
Immigration crisis really didn't start until the Biden administration, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think President Obama his administration was very aggressive.
He deported a lot of people.
He did. He sent a lot of people back.
I don't know what he did to keep them from coming in the first place. If you import a lot of people, then you could say, I deported a lot of
people coming in. You just got to follow the rules, right? We have laws. We have a process that says, here's how you can come to the United States, whether it's a work visa, a student visa, whether it's through the immigration network. Just follow the rules.
Because was catch and release an Obama thing?
I don't know.
I
don't remember. I don't remember this being a really big problem until the last administration.
And so
maybe the tail end of the Obama administration, because I guess it was the current president's first term. When he started talking about the wall. So
right. When he ran on it.
Yeah.
So there was clearly something.
There was something.
The theory there.
But I don't think the numbers were what they were under the Biden administration.
Yeah. When you combine kind of uncontrolled migration into the country, legal, illegal, whatever, uncontrolled, with a lot of blue states and counties and cities saying, don't show ID at the voting poll. and then you come into this country and you get a bunch of benefits and a bunch of money, who are you going to vote for? So, and the Democrats don't necessarily place the nuclear family on a pedestal. We can say that they fight for a lot of things. I don't hear them fighting for have more babies. You know what I mean? And so if your voting base isn't starting families and having a bunch of babies, where are you getting your voters from? And so now that immigration is being clamped down upon, and we're seeing states start to say, no, you're going to have to show your ID at your voting poll. Well, now what are they asking for? Let's lower the voting age.
You gotta show an ID to get on an airplane. You have to show an ID to
drive your car to work.
Drive your car. Look, those are important things, but that's probably not as important as casting a vote and who's gonna serve and are us in our government. So I think I am all for some kind of ID, right? This is not 1952. There's not majorities of the United States, the South, underdeveloped places that don't have IDs. So don't tell me
I think it's incredibly insulting.
If
to say
I would imagine you have to have some ID to get some federal benefits, right? You have to prove who you are, right? So don't tell me it's about voter suppression and maybe it affects minorities disproportionately, because again, this is not 1952.
Yeah, I find it incredibly insulting when people come out and say, "Well, black people don't know how to get licenses."
Yeah, stop, man, stop.
That's if I was black, I'd be pretty upset about that.
If you want to get on an airplane, if you want to apply for a job, you're going to have some kind of ID, right? We need to know who you are. Need to know if you're a citizen. Need to know if you're here legally, and if you are, hey, welcome. And when you become a citizen, exercise your right, but we have to check who's casting. It's too important. We have to check.
Agree.
We got to have some kind of verification of your eligibility to participate in an election.
Yeah, so I think her whole lower the voting age thing is, the DNC is seeing their voter base starting to shrink. And they're trying to find any sort of way that they can to expand the number of people that could potentially vote for them.
At 16, I don't know that. I know I didn't understand the world well enough to make a decision on who was going to serve. I didn't care. I didn't care. I probably voted in the first election after I turned 18 because it was new and I thought it was neat.
Yeah.
And then I probably didn't vote the next couple until I was started in the Army.
Oh, wow.
And then, every time I got an opportunity after I was in the Army, I made sure I cast a ballot.
Yeah. So to strongman the argument so you can enlist, you can get sent off to basic training at 17.
Yes, you can enlist and go to basic training at 17. Your parents have to
sign a waiver.
Sign
Can you show up to a unit at the age of 17?
I don't think that's the way it works. Most of the people that go to training at 17 are Compo 2 and 3, National Guard or reservists, and they're still in high school, so they'll go to basic training the summer between their junior and senior year, and then once they graduate, they go to AIT and then...
So they come back from basic in a holding pattern. They turn 18 and then they continue on with their training.
Right in the middle, right?
So we're not sending 17-year-olds off to war. So there goes that. I think if we were, that would be a point of serious discussion.
Well, I mean,
as
it's
far
a
as
different
voting
discussion, right? I mean, if you can step up and defend the country, then
if you're charged to execute the foreign policy of the United States,
you absolutely should have a say in whose policy you're executing.
Now, at 16, you can have a job and you can be paying income tax.
Sure.
Does that change your mind about whether or not you should be able to vote?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No.
Nor does it change mine, because you can be a non-citizen, be working, be paying taxes, still can't vote. So that was my 2 points to try and strongman the argument for lowering the voting age, and we just blew them apart in about 2 minutes. So those are it's on the front of mind because we're recording this on a Saturday. municipal elections
are coming up this
go
week,
on
right?
Tuesday,
Yeah,
November 4th.
absolutely.
So those will have come and passed by the time we drop this episode. But just so you have some context as to why it's on our mind, that's why. What caught your attention on the internet this week, Dad?
Okay, I'm going to move us away from some of the political issues. I was talking with Alana this morning, actually, and did you read that a truckload of monkeys, not making this up, it's true, evidently some of them aggressive, was being moved from Tulane University to a destination unknown.
Oh, Jesus.
And the truck rolled over in Mississippi, and several of these aggressive monkeys got loose.
I mean,
got loose. Right?
Mississippi and maybe the panhandle of Florida are
Where
the two
else would it
worst
happen? Where else
places
would it
you-
happen? Right? First of all, who in Mississippi needs 20 monkeys? Right? Maybe they were going someplace else. But what's
I bet
funny
some people
about
think they need 20 monkeys.
what's funny about it is they won't say, Tulane University won't say, hey, here's where they're going.
Oh, boy.
The truck driver, the trucking company won't say, hey, here's where we were taking them.
Sure.
Right? You just monkey running amok. Monkey business happening in Mississippi.
Monkey business.
Right? Okay, so there was 20 some odd of them in this truck, right?
Okay. Did
Truck-
they get them all back?
No.
Oh.
That's where we're going. Around 13 of them, their cages contained them, right?
Okay.
I
That's good.
think 8 or 9 of them got out.
Okay.
5 of them were very aggressive. Local law enforcement had to
Take your time.
local law enforcement had to subdue them kinetically. Okay? And there are still 3 or 4 said monkeys monkeying around in Mississippi.
loose.
They're loose.
You think they found a home?
On the loose in Mississippi.
You think they found a home?
I don't know. If they hadn't, they're looking.
I bet
right?
they have found
So if you're in southern
somebody down there to take
Mississippi,
them in.
right? If you're in southern Mississippi, be on the lookout. These are some aggressive monkeys. Now, the University of Tulane has assured us that these monkeys are not carrying pathogens, that they have not been infected with some kind of virus or, mutation of a virus, even though Tulane does acknowledge that the primates they keep on the university are for those purposes.
Look, academics have never lied to us before about animals containing
no.
pathogens.
No.
And usually, when it comes to academia, the first thing they say is usually the truth.
Well, I mean, if they would have said something, but they're saying, hey, we don't know where the monkeys were going. Tulane is being very hush-hush about what was going on with this group of monkeys.
Right.
Right? But you think if you're moving non-native species through the United States, hey, I want you to have a permit,
Yeah.
And when the law enforcement got to the scene of the accident, the driver actually told them, hey, some of these monkeys are aggressive. Right?
And then when
law enforcement crossed paths with 5 of them that were aggressive, I think they died of lead poisoning.
Yeah. Some percussive
There was some
neutralization of the threat.
Use of force. The
Were they
use of force
aggressive,
continuum.
Or were they just monkeys? Because if you put me in a cage in the
Now,
back
these
of
monkeys,
a semi
right?
and I
Okay,
got
listen.
out,
I'm saying monkey. I don't know what they were. I don't know if they were a little black and white monkey. I don't know if they were a big monkey. I don't know if they were spider
I
monkey.
don't know that it
what they were.
matters when it comes to the
Well,
teeth
they
are
weighed
sharp.
40 pounds.
My dog weighs 40 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? And you have an Australian Shepherd, right? So
It's a big dog.
Yeah, he's a big dog, And these monkeys are close to having opposable thumbs. Who knows what they
And
can
they've
come
got
up with, man?
claws
Hey, if you're
and
in Mississippi,
fangs.
you better watch out, man.
Nah, somebody's got them, dude. Somebody
Nah, I
in
don't know.
Mississippi has got those monkeys.
No, hey, next
We
thing
need
you
to get
know,
on
it'll
Facebook
be
Marketplace and set the location
it'll
of
turn
Mississippi.
into an invasive species like these pythons did down in Florida.
Could you
right?
imagine?
Huh?
Or the hogs in Texas.
Exactly.
You're just flying around in a helicopter.
Exactly. What if
pinging
one of these
in
monkeys cross
Mississippi?
paths with a Sasquatch, and now there's going to be some kind of new hybrid primate in the United States?
Maybe it would be normal size then.
Yes.
So we stand a chance. This is how conspiracy theories start. And
we're feeding it right now.
No, Tulane is feeding it.
Listen.
By not being transparent.
Hey,
transparency ended when the monkeys got out of the truck.
Who needed the monkeys? Were they going to Mississippi? Were they passing through on their way to Alabama, Florida, or Georgia?
Even worse.
Right? Nobody in that part of the world needs a monkey.
No. And plenty of them have them, unfortunately. And that's how we get Tiger King.
I don't know. But I thought it was funny.
Maybe they were just using them to test. They were actually coming here. I was going to test my shampoo bars on them.
Is that what it was?
They were coming to Tandler's Tallow
Tandler's
headquarters
Tallow. Monkey
for
approved.
shampoo testing.
Approved for your monkey.
Yeah.
There's a commercial there. We got to work on it a little bit.
the ads are writing themselves.
Monkey tested, monkey approved. All right.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of monkeys. No, I'm just kidding. Man. What's going on in Venezuela right now? What can you say?
Just what you read on social media, okay? The president of Venezuela is probably not the most honest guy. There's
never met a dishonest president in my life.
There's some talk that he could be the leader of a drug cartel down there. He's feeling some pressure because of increased U.S. presence in the Caribbean. He is aligned with Russia. They consider Venezuela an ally. I think it's more of a partnership of convenience. But he started off very hard line on this. Exercised some show of force, around his country in the presence of U.S. warships. And then he changed his tune just a little bit and said that there should never be war between Venezuela and the United States.
Can you blame the guy?
All should be worked out, through discussions. And then, the next thing Venezuela is showing off some new Russian military hardware. So I don't know how it's going to shake out for him. What he's going to have to do is, take care of the people in his country. If he was elected, there's some question on, how the election went. If he was truly elected and the people support him, then, he is where he is.
Yeah. This is a weird one to me because I can't figure out why we're taking such a hardline position. If you want to talk about presidents or administrations being aligned with drug cartels, Venezuela is absolutely not the only one down there.
No, the president of Colombia is feeling some pressure
Mexico,
too for the same reason. Mexico's got a different set of problems. I don't think the Mexican president is leading the drug cartels.
Sure, but the government cooperates.
They
with
appease them. Yeah,
exactly. So that alone doesn't seem like because our administration's now talking about like a land invasion over there.
No, we won't.
Sure?
No.
But it's been thrown around for whatever reason.
When you put an aircraft carrier and a naval task force in the Caribbean, we haven't done that before, right? When you put that capability there, the logical question is what's next, right?
Sure.
And I think this is part of the reason is the administration's shift to the Western Hemisphere and protecting the homeland. That's the number one priority of the Department of War right now is protection of the homeland, and I think this is just an effect of that. We do have to stop the flow of all illegal drugs, but especially fentanyl and synthetic opioids. We have to curb the influx of that into the states. It's killing thousands of people
I completely agree.
And the chemicals that are required to produce those substances are, shipped or bought by these cartels. The drugs are assembled or cooked or made in South American countries, and then there's different avenues in which the cartels can move those substances into the United States. But we have to look at it, right? We have to look at it through, and I've heard Mexican leaders say this: the problem isn't with the substances, the problem is the appetite for the substances in your country.
Well, yeah, they're highly addictive. So
they are. They absolutely are. I mean, and then, it's a two-sided coin, of course. Is it the illegal production of the substance, or is it the appetite for the substance from the citizens of the United States?
Yeah,
it's an economics problem.
Yeah, it's definitely a math problem. The thing is, the vast majority of the drug activity that affects the United States does not take place or have anything to do with Venezuela. I'm not saying the number is zero, but if that's our going in position, why we're doing this, why would we start with Venezuela? That's why I'm struggling. There's a lot of things I don't know because it's not clear to me. I think
part of it's a political thing because there's some question about whether or not he rigged an election. And we could sit here and say, is it our business?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's a great question. Is it our business?
And even with the Russia thing, once Putin got himself tangled up in this war, he even reached out to Maduro and said, if you get in a tangle with the United States, we cannot help you.
They will not be able to do much.
He came out and said that to the president. So I think, if you're a foreign policy blob guy in the United States, you can be like, okay, well, we're good on that front because we know, like, while they may be aligned with Russia for like rhetorical purposes, there's really no threat to the United States from Russia by means of Venezuela.
I might have believed that until yesterday, as I was on the internet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen these? If you've seen any of the Russia-Ukraine video footage, if you're watching that, Russia has these big military cargo planes, probably bigger than a C-5, right? They look like, they're not painted green. They're white and blue. There's a name for them, and if I'd have done my homework on this, I could have been prepared. But it's one of the largest cargo planes in the world. One landed in Venezuela on Friday.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I did not
for sure.
See
Huge
that.
cargo plane.
Yeah,
huge. Right. Landed in Venezuela on Friday.
I bet that thing is full of small arms.
I don't know. Don't know what it was
full of. I bet it's full of rifles.
They were talking about the lift capability of this, and it could carry up to 200 people, is what they said. It could carry one of their S-400 anti-aircraft missile systems. That will fit in one of these. A complete one of those will fit in one of these.
Yeah.
Hundreds of tons of small arms and ammunition could fit in one of these. But, going back to your point, I don't think we're going to execute a land invasion of Venezuela, right? And as long as they don't threaten or not aggressive towards our military that's down there, I don't think we would strike them first, right?
What do we want from Venezuela?
I'm going to have to get back on the internet next week after I not have my full and try to dig the backstory on this.
Because I've not seen that answer.
Okay, here's the thing. That's probably the most oil-rich country in South America.
There it is.
I knew where she was going. I knew where she was going. She was just waiting. She was just waiting. She was just waiting. Right?
Yep.
But if we will continue to unleash American energy, if we will continue to develop our capacity to pump oil and refine oil, and go back and recover some of the energy independence we had 5 or 6 years ago, Venezuela is not a...
Because it's dirty oil that comes out of Venezuela.
No, yeah, so there's a lot of refinement, different stages of refinement. I think that has to happen to get that to where that's usable for...
Yeah, I don't think the people of the United States do not need dirty Venezuelan oil. I think the oil corporations in the United States would love some dirty Venezuelan oil. It's more that they can put to market, especially if we're sanctioning Russian oil as aggressively as we are.
Right.
That's so much more that can be sold off. And then, oh, well, hey,
I mean, we could
United
talk about
States,
it if
we're
we
cleaning this oil for
exercised,
you. Little subsidy one.
not directly, but if we exercised control of the output of Venezuelan oil, that's a lever against OPEC.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
that.
Yeah, it's a
And
lever
then,
against OPEC.
For the first time, I think, well, not in history, because the United States did start with no gold, but for the first time in a very long time, the banks, so like New York, London, these big banks throughout the Western world have more gold than the United States. And we're seeing the price of gold skyrocket,
Okay.
$4,000 an ounce. And it's not a news story.
Where does the United States keep its gold?
I know where they tell us it is.
Okay, where they tell us it.
It's allegedly in Fort Knox.
It is. Do you know the last time the gold reserve was inventoried in Fort Knox?
A very long time ago.
It was the 50s or 60s, I think.
Yeah, big
Right.
problem.
Right. And then, I believe it was President Nixon that moved us off the gold standard, right? So, yeah, where is the gold? Is there gold? Where is it? Open Fort
I was
Knox.
thinking about this. Yeah, I was thinking about the whole, like, what if there's no gold in Fort Knox? I don't think, if there was no gold in Fort Knox, somebody would have said something. You'd
Who?
get a guard. Like, you would get so much money for breaking
I don't imagine
that
he
story.
goes in there and counts the bars. I imagine the holding rooms, vaults, whatever, are sealed, and he checks the seal.
Right, but somebody goes in there.
Who?
I don't know.
I bet they don't.
You think nobody goes in there?
I bet those vaults are sealed. There's a seal on the a non-temper seal on the outside. I bet it's monitored.
Who put that seal on there?
I bet it's monitored by a computer, and I bet the check is if that seal's intact.
You think there's any cameras in there?
Yeah, probably.
Somebody.
I mean, it ain't the Louvre. You're not going to cut through
Thank
the
God.
window and make off with $108 million worth of the French crown jewels,
Yeah.
right? Oh, speaking of things on the internet, I think they've made 5 or so arrests on that. So it was a pretty big operation. There's some logistics and some
I think that was
planning that went
was
on
an
with
inside
that.
job.
You know,
That was a
that's what somebody
contracted.
said. There's
That was a contracted hit.
There's a jewel thief who, straight out of a movie, man, a jewel thief who was arrested and started working with French or European Europol law enforcement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first things that he said in an interview after it happened, he goes, that's insider information, man. And he was just somebody on the inside that assisted, whatever group of
or like
jewel
a
thieves.
cabal of art dealers that
maybe.
are so well connected.
Maybe.
And because people were worried that everything would be taken apart and sold on the black market.
That's the only way they can fence it. I don't think they would be able to fence it if it was intact. That means moving stolen
but
goods.
it loses all its value. Like, it loses so much of its value when it's not together. Because then you could just go steal a truckload of blood diamonds coming out of Africa.
You know,
what I mean?
Its value when it's put together only exists in France.
I don't think so.
I
bet there's some wealthy Chinese businessmen who would love nothing more
Nah, I don't know.
to have Marie Antoinette's necklace.
Brooch,
Yeah.
I'd piece it out.
Yeah. You leave a lot of money on the table piecing it out, I'm telling you. But
any money I put in my pocket is more money I had when I started the thing.
that's true.
All right? Don't you only get caught if you get greedy, folks. All right?
Then that's
only
the
get
greed.
caught
Trying to
if you
eke
get
out an
greedy.
extra 30% on your stolen diamond return.
A diamond in the hand is worth 2 in the crown.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think what's really behind the whole Venezuela thing is resources. I mean, we're not.
Yeah, I think.
And I think, because I was almost like,
I knew where you're going to that. It just took you a while to pull it out on me.
Yeah, I was
trying
like,
to offer something.
well, do we want regime change there as a way to get more control of these resources?
You act
because
like
that's way better.
Regime change is a page in our playbook. We would never.
No. Do that. Well, and then Maduro came out saying he was willing to make a deal on resources.
He did.
Pretty much handing over everything.
He did. And we said,
we said, kick rocks.
That's it. Pound sand.
So again, like even though I think it's over resources, it still doesn't make sense to me, the approach that we are taking to get there.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it develops and how it shakes out. You know, I don't think it's over. I don't even really think it's started. I mean, we've intercepted some narco.
We
boats.
blew them out. We blew boats out of the water. How do we know what was on that boat?
We have intelligence, right? The thing that concerns me more is it was put out, through open source channels that maybe the administration had okayed the Central Intelligence Agency to be on the ground down there.
Yeah.
I really don't think that there's no reason for that to be public knowledge, right? And don't get upset. The CIA, that's what the CIA was built for, okay? To handle our intelligence collection and intelligence functions in foreign countries.
Well, I think the issue with what the administration put out as far as CIA's role in Venezuela is the fact that the CIA has become a largely paramilitary organization. And the twist on that, if you want to, I don't know if it leaked or they put it out on purpose. I don't know that leaks come out of the White House. I think they're all on purpose. But putting the language that was in that made it sound like you were sending the boogie boys down there.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't the Mormon,
the CIA,
operations officer down there talking to people. That didn't sound like.
I don't know. Do we still? Is our embassy still staffed down there? Do we have a chief of mission down there?
They've got to.
Right. And unless we, because of the political climate or whatever's going on in Venezuela, if we pulled our embassy staff out because it wasn't safe.
I feel like that would have been a big news story.
I don't know. We'll have to look on that. I think maybe we should.
And I don't think it's in Maduro's interest to kick the embassy out. If he's coming to the table negotiating, it wouldn't be him that expels all the diplomats, because then there goes your diplomatic channel.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're on the way. You know what I mean? So I don't see him doing that. And it's and geographically, Venezuela is a really interesting place. I mean,
it's a choke point coming out of South America.
1,300 miles of coastline,
mm-hmm.
a 1,300-mile land border with Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to talk about, I hope to God we're not trying to do a land invasion over there, because that is going to be a dumpster fire. It is so easy to bounce back and forth from Brazil to Venezuela. And I think that there's somebody was saying there's paramilitary organizations in Brazil. And does Colombia share a border with Venezuela? Two of those countries, one of them being Brazil, that borders Venezuela, and they hate the United States. So I think it would be incredibly unwise to do that, especially when we don't really know I don't know what the beef is. Like, I can't make sense of it.
Okay.
I mean, I know the narrative and I know the spin, but then you pierce the veil, and then it's like, well, this is way worse in other places that we're not threatening.
Sure.
So,
what else we got on the list?
Oh, Lord. Hold on. Let me pull it up.
Oh, your eyeballs getting bad or something?
I guess I'm getting old.
What?
Oh. I mean, it's more political stuff, but I know.
What happened to the monkeys?
I know. I don't. My algorithm's.
Yeah, right.
I don't get nothing good on.
I gotta have some lighthearted stuff in there sometimes,
Well, nothing says lighthearted like Social Security.
No, hold on. All right, we'll do Social Security, and then I have one, and that'll probably take us to
the end.
To the end of.
How do you feel about Rand Paul?
I respect some of the things he says.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always agree with him. I do. I think the older I get, maybe the more I fashion myself as a libertarian.
Mm-hmm.
You do you, as long as it doesn't infringe on me.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Small government guy.
I am a small government guy. It's not my business who you choose to make your life with, who you choose to love, or what you choose to do in the confines of your own house. I don't care. Where I do get aggravated is when you put it in my face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. You do you. Don't infringe on me.
Yeah.
Small government, minimal government oversight, fiscal responsibility. We're $38 trillion in debt. Something's got to give.
Went up $1 trillion in 2 months.
So
it's crazy. So he came out saying he was talking about Social Security, and well, you gave your position on Rand Paul. I like him. I like him, and I like Massey. The libertarians that are in government right now, I think they're great. I don't agree with everything in the libertarian position, but I think the more libertarians you have in Congress to just tell everybody to chill out and stop spending money, the better we're going to do. I
mean, they've been there, but I mean, we're, in
libertarians
the
can't
last
agree
10
on
years,
enough to become a serious
deficit
party.
has doubled.
Yeah.
Went from like 17 trillion to 34, 35 trillion. I think we're at 38 now.
We are.
We can't sustain that, but we've been saying that for the last 10 years, but nobody wants to do anything about it. Right.
Yeah.
And doing something about it, folks, I'm here to tell you, doing something about it, it's going to be painful. It's going to be painful for a lot of people. Right. We just can't continue to print, as you say, to print money.
I mean, that's what they do.
And
it is crazy because, you hear people talk about the climate crisis, what they view as a crisis, and say, we got to think about our children, our grandchildren. And it's like, we have a Fast Freddy, right? A $38 trillion Fast Freddy right in front of us, and we're not shooting him, so like, but Rand Paul came out saying he wants to raise the retirement age to 70 for Social Security. Yeah. And so I'll try and strongman his position here. I think it's very rare that people, maybe there's some boomers that still do it. I think it's...
Quit putting labels on people.
No, but I'm saying I think it's kind of out the window with a large portion of Gen X and millennials who I don't think really have large plans to live off of Social Security alone.
No.
People have... I mean, the number of pension jobs has decreased drastically.
Yes. But hopefully you've done some smart things, 401k, IRAs, and taking care of yourself.
And I think millennials have gotten very smart on that, and they have started either, finding a job that has a 401k with match and then actually investing. You see the military doing TSP as a retirement option, which I think is great. 5% match, which is fantastic from the Army if you're enrolled in TSP. And then retail investing, Robinhood, a ton of millennials are on Robinhood and they're doing great. We talk about it all the time.
It's funny, your brother Devin does that.
Yeah.
He's got a Robinhood account that he's
right. And 6 years younger than me, and he's already...
And he started early, right?
Exactly. So to strongman Rand Paul's argument is, if people... Social Security is not your primary source of retirement funding, you have other sources, then, we can say you're not going to collect a check from Social Security until you're 70. But that's not saying that you can't retire from your job at 65. You're just not getting a check from Social Security until 70.
The problem I have with that is I put that money in there. It was promised to me at a certain date or a certain age, right? Don't move the goalpost on me, right? That's my money. I'm just letting you hold it for the good of your program.
For a terrible rate of return.
A horrible rate of return. And then in the past, Congress has stuck its spoon in the Social Security fund.
They do it continually.
For different reasons and justified it, always with a promise to pay it back, but it never gets paid back.
Bush didn't pay it back. It took over $1 trillion out. Never paid it back.
That money is not the government's money. That money belongs to the people who are out there working, contributing to it. So don't move the goalpost on me, right? You can now, it used to be 62, right? You could retire at 62. Now it's 62 for a reduced rate, right? It's 65 for
the full
benefit. Now you want to move it again. Right. And
what's the limiting principle? When does it stop?
It doesn't.
You're right. Yeah.
It doesn't.
Now, then it'll be 100, 150.
Right.
And
then it'll be it'll become another tax that you won't ever see anything back,
Right.
So,
and you don't really get a huge say as a voter how your tax dollars are spent.
No, you don't.
Especially when there's no forcing function to make Congress vote on individual bills when we can push omnibus bills through that. I mean, no one can ever get their arms fully around it.
I mean, it's 1,200 pages of gobbledygook, and it gets approved before even a human has time to read it.
Yeah, and we were talking about this the other day on the phone. Everybody's program that they're passionate about, everybody's thing is just a fraction of the debt. And so that's the
yeah.
argument used to never reduce anything. Is like, my thing's just a fraction. Go look at that guy.
You know,
he's like, mine's a
hey,
fraction
here's
too.
the thing. A flash flood is a whole bunch of little raindrops.
Yeah.
Right? It's a whole bunch of little rain. It doesn't just come out of a bucket.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's not a fire hose,
It
right?
spontaneously
No,
exists.
it is a bunch of little raindrops.
Yeah.
And that's what our deficit is. And every one of them, every program, every, you know, sucking chest wound of financial woe adds up, and it matters. You know, it definitely matters. The total is, yeah, I can't even fathom $38 trillion.
No.
Like, it is very hard for me to wrap my head around just exactly how much money that is. And I'm a physical representation.
Sure.
I like to see things and touch things. I don't even know how big of a building or a football field or
God.
number of football fields I would have to lay out $38
in Benny's,
trillion,
dude, in hundreds.
right?
you
Yeah,
know?
right.
Like, it's insane. Yeah, to me, it's just depressing. I think about that, and it's just so depressing. Like, it just makes me feel like we're not a serious country. You know, like if we're
we're an
38.
addict. We're an addict. That's what it is. We're serious. We're seriously addicted.
Yeah,
right.
to printing money, and I think, you know, with the Fed, like the way Biden printed money during COVID, I think that's an incredibly dangerous precedent to set. That one man can one dead guy can come over the top rope and with his auto pen be like, ah! And then we print trillions of dollars, and then the money in your bank account just lost half of its value.
Yeah,
you know, like it's terrifying.
You know, we are, and when I say we're an addict, we will trade our tomorrows to feel good today, and that's what we're doing with this debt. You know, we're trading our kids and grandkids' future just so we can feel good today. And when we wean ourselves off of it, it'll be just like coming off of some addictive substance. You're going to have some,
and
you're going to have some symptoms, right? And it's going to hurt for a while.
Where I think this goes with Social Security, so the population group that is overwhelmingly represented in Congress is boomers. They still, I'm pretty sure, have a majority of senators for sure. They're drawing the Social Security checks right now. So they're at the finish line. They paid into it. Although it's not a savings account. That's the problem.
It doesn't matter to them. Their salary is somewhere north of $170,000 a year, right? Just to be a senator. And then when you look at...
but they're all deca millionaires, which is
kind
weird.
of funny, isn't it?
Yeah, super
Isn't
weird.
that funny? $170,000 a year, now you're a multimillionaire.
Not bad work if you can get it. You know what I mean?
And I don't think, you know, when our framers, we'll shift gears a little bit here. When our framers put our government on paper, I don't think those positions were ever meant to be careers, right?
No, you were supposed to take a break from your life, make this huge sacrifice, ride a
to
horse to Washington to vote for your people and get the hell out of
and
there.
then leave, right? It was never meant for you to be a career. I can't remember. I have to read. There's some president that said, you know, any politician, anyone who's had a career in politics is a crook, or worse to that effect, right? And, you know, I mean, the amount of information, you see it, we're starting to talk about it, we're starting to shine the light on it. The amount of information that's available to them as far as defense spending, defense capability, what companies are providing what material or what new technology, and it's ripe, and I'm sure there's insider trading going on, right?
Oh yeah, I mean that's not even
that's how they're making their money. That's how they're making their money.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's why they fight so hard to stay there. It's not because they're up there working really hard for $170,000 a year. That's not why they fight to stay up there. It's the benefits and the access to information that they have that allows them to better their financial position is the reason they're fighting to stay up there. Right? Yeah. Or it's some company that's paying them through about 4 backdoor channel shell companies to vote a certain way, right? Or to champion a cause, right?
The Clinton Foundation.
Wasn't going to try to call anybody out.
I'll do it. I would never take my own life. I just want to say that for the record.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Here's the thing. If I end up smoked, right, and somebody says it was suicide, I promise you it wasn't. All right.
Yeah.
I would start looking with Alana.
Oh, come
That's
on.
where I would start.
And then Hillary Clinton.
You know, one of the
Yeah,
one of the things
after.
that disturbs me about her, and we're switching gears here, we're a little bit of family into this, is I usually go to sleep before she does. And we leave the TV on most nights when we're asleep, and then being a middle-aged man, I have to get up at least once in the night, right?
Yeah, don't we all?
But when I wake up in the middle of the night and there's this, I almost got away with it, or
she's watching murder mysteries.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Heavy metals concern me. Disposing of bodies
you get any
concern me.
50-gallon drums shipped to the house recently that just showed up randomly? Yeah.
Why she got an open browser open for
Why'd she buy that
decomposition
second
rates of
chest
bodies
freezer?
and vats of acid? Yeah, what's that freezer about? I know why she's pushing me so hard to get goats and pigs.
Oh my God, I did not put that together. She does want animals that eat everything.
Everything. All right, start there.
Start there, and then look at everything I said about the Clinton Foundation. Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think where I was going with the generation that's overrepresented in our legislative body is the generation that's drawing Social Security. And people say, well, they paid into it, so but it's not a savings account. That's the thing. It's the current working generation
pays for.
Yes.
Yeah, you pay forward.
You pay forward.
Right.
So the generation drawing is not the generation paying into it, obviously.
That's right.
And they're not drawing the money that they paid into it 25 years ago.
That's right.
They're drawing my money right now. And the second they're out, well, now Gen Xers are in. And it's like, well, are Gen Xers going to vote to cut the tap off? I don't know. I don't think we will see major reforms to Social Security. I mean, millennials have lost all hope that we'll ever see a red cent.
Quit grouping people together. Why can't we just be Americans?
Matters.
Well, I mean, it does matter, but every time because
we don't
talk
vote
about
as Americans,
group, we build divides.
Sure,
right? We do.
But if we voted as Americans, we would all have come together and put an end to this by now.
I don't understand. I mean, I think we do vote as Americans. I think we need to vote America first, right?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Our dissensions and our disagreements all too often get put in these bins, right? Well, millennials do this, and Gen X does this, and boomers do that. I think we got to. I would challenge us to move away from that. And this is not a personal attack on you, right? But I would challenge us to move away from that line of thinking. Quit trying to classify people. I mean, that's how the government keeps us at odds, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they do, The more we're divided, the easier we are to conquer, right? There's got to be some unity.
Yeah, I just don't see unity in terms of at what point. Nobody wants to stop Social Security while they're getting the check. That's the problem. And so then you have to look at who's getting the check right now. Like, who is overrepresented in Congress? What age are most of these Congress people? What's their voting block look like? And why? Like, when you start to ask, why are we not changing this, other than telling everybody to work until they die?
I don't think anybody and here's probably part of the problem. I don't think anybody in Congress, I don't think Social Security matters to them.
I mean, Madison Rand Paul came out and talked about it.
It's not... it does not figure into their...
It's just an impossible situation. You can't make any change to Social Security without pissing somebody off.
No, you will. You absolutely
know what I mean?
will. And you'll take a pounding from the other side. There'll be these editorial cartoons of your side pushing grandma off a cliff in a wheelchair. Yeah. You see those every time we start talking about Social Security reform. Whatever side brings it up, the other side's editorial goons draw a picture of them pushing grandma off a cliff in a wheelchair. So
yeah, and I think your point about kind of bridging generational gaps and resolving some of the generational animosity, I think it's a great idea.
I mean,
because at some point,
you brought it up earlier. Look how many 20 to 24-year-olds moved
to the GOP
to a more conservative
point
of view, right? So I think
My point is,
I don't want to divide us.
Be nice to your kids.
Yes.
Be nice to your grandkids.
Yes.
Because at some point, Social Security will run out.
They
and if your
will.
kids
It
don't
will.
talk to you anymore,
Right.
it's going to be tough.
That's right. That's right.
Because that's how we used to do it. We used to take care of each other within our family and within our
Yes,
community.
we
And
did.
now we just rely on the government to do everything for you.
Hey,
and you
anything
just
the
burn
government gives
bridges.
you, the government can take away. If you rely on the
fact.
government to feed you, the government can starve you.
We're learning that the hard
Here
way
we go.
right now.
Right? The government doesn't produce anything.
Mm-hmm.
The government does not make a profit. The government cannot give something to somebody that it does not take away from somebody else.
Imagine you were on a stranded island, right? Your little Cessna went down. It's you, the Flets, the Tracys. You're all on an island, and the Maddoxes. What are we doing? We're catching fish. Okay, the Flets are building a bomb house.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he would nail that. The Tracys are making sure nobody runs up on us while we're doing all this important
Mike
work.
Tracy in charge of security, no question.
And some asshole just comes rowing up on the boat like this and says, "Give me all your fish." Well, first of all, Flet, you go build me a nice building over here so I can make all my rules. You give me all your fish. I'll say who gets the fish. You'd kill that guy immediately. And that is essentially what the government is. It is a very small group of people that take from a large group of people and give it out to other small groups of people.
Yeah, but the people that are sitting there doing that, we put them there, right? Which goes back to exercising your civic duty and voting for the right kind of person.
Fact.
Right.
Even at the municipal
That's
level,
where it starts, man.
It all
That's
matters.
Absolutely.
Because
where it starts.
all of these senators and all of these people that we hate
We just
got
keep
their
sending them
start. They got their start somewhere.
Yeah, and we just keep sending them back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like if you want to say municipal elections aren't important, but
Oh, they are.
you're talking about the New York City mayoral race, like
Hey, I would
mayor
argue
matters.
your municipal elections have a greater impact on you than maybe
Day to day, absolutely.
yeah, because that's where your kids go to school.
Mm-hmm.
That's the community that you live in. That's who decides what roads and what neighborhoods get improved. Who decides
They're making the zoning laws for housing.
What
and-
infrastructure gets built, what infrastructure doesn't get built, and to what standard. So
if
hey,
an
don't
AI
sleep on your
data center
municipal,
moves
don't
into
sleep on
your area
municipal
and
election.
raises your electricity bill, that's your city council that's allowing that to happen.
For sure.
And that's happening all over the place.
Sure.
So it's like, take a careful look. You said you had one more thing. Do you remember what it was?
I think we touched on it a little bit. I was going to talk about the auto pin fiasco,
yes.
and what we're doing and where we think, what the outcome of the whole thing is going to be. I know that the right is all up in arms because they question whether or not the
Who was making the
former
decision?
president knew everything that was being auto pinned. And it's starting to look like he may not have known everything that was being auto pinned. That he may have had a group of advisors around him who got a little liberal with, I think this is what he would want, and then use that to move some things. Here's the thing: no auto pin.
Yeah,
right?
I think it should completely
It's
go
got to
away.
be a signature. It's got to be a wet hand.
I don't care if he's doing it all
signature.
day.
I don't care if he's doing it all day. You're president of the United
If
States.
Miley
so what we pay you
Cyrus
for.
can do it
That's
all day.
what we freaking pay you for.
Exactly.
Right? And then you own it.
Mm-hmm.
You own it. And I know they say, well, it's auto pin. It's his name. He owns it. Yeah, is he the one pushing? Right? If he's got carpal tunnel, is he the one pushing the button on the auto pin, making it sign?
Give me the squiggly wiggly. If you've got carpal tunnel, use your foot, your left hand. I don't. Yeah. Well, put his little dog paw. Just bam. I don't care how you do it.
Yeah, no auto pin, man.
No freaking.
It's too
auto-pen.
important. The decisions that come out of the executive branch are too important.
I didn't
for there
elect
to be
his chief of staff.
It's too important for there to be a possible seam or gap. Right?
Exactly.
The man that we put in there better know what actions are coming out of there with his name on them.
Especially now that because now we have this whole presidential immunity thing. That anything they do in office, they can't be tried for. And
most things.
Yes.
If it's in the execution of his duties as the president,
exactly.
he cannot be.
So then
charged
what
or
you
tried
have is this blob of, people who work in the White House, essentially with the auto pen, now anybody has immunity for anything that's done in pursuit of the presidential office. Because if we're saying, well, the president owns it, he was comatose while I pressed the button to sign this thing, now the blame just goes to the president who has immunity, and we don't know who pressed the damn button.
No, that's what I'm talking about, Jack.
So, like, serious crimes, treason can happen.
No telling.
And
you could pardon a bunch of people. You could pardon people that may or may not have unleashed a pandemic on the world.
I hope that pardon gets overturned. Oh my God!
And then went to great lengths to cover it up.
Yeah. And we know all of that now,
right?
Because now that he got the pardon,
it did not occur in nature.
The media has not done a great job of covering for that guy.
Viral institute in Wuhan, China, that was funded.
Like Jon Stewart said, the Hershey chocolate may or may not have come from Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Right. That was funded
the factory called Hershey.
Some portion of the United States government. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's I think the auto pen has got to go.
Got to go.
We need term limits.
I think, and you cannot let our elected officials vote for term limits. That has got to go to the people. Right?
Yeah,
I don't know if it's an amendment.
Come together and
yes. I don't know if it's an amendment, but they'll never
vote for that.
They'll never vote for it. It would never get to a floor vote. It would never make it that bill would never make it out of committee, right? If it was up to them. There has to be some way.
Like states can come together to make a constitutional amendment. It's like a state convention.
It's called something like that.
Something like that. It has happened before.
Yes.
However,
and we've got to. There's got to be some term limits, man.
Yeah. Well, and limits. Unfortunately, a lot of these governors and people who would speak on behalf of their state for this type of a constitutional process to kind of inject an amendment, they're always eyeballs up to DC.
Sure.
They don't want to slam the door in their own face, and it's so incredibly frustrating.
Go serve. If you're called, go serve, right?
Yeah.
Go do your duty as a servant, somebody that was chosen to serve the constituents of whatever district, state, whatever you represent, and then come back.
Yeah.
Come back. It's not meant for...
It's not a career.
It's not.
Like Zoran Mamdani, Cuomo was calling him out saying, you've never had a job before. He has been in politics. He's only, 35, something like that? Maybe 37. He's been in politics his whole life.
One of the reasons the current president can be so polarizing is he's had a job in the real world. He's produced something. The former president, God bless him, I'm all for the president, duly elected a president, whomever it is.
Years.
Right? Never did anything, right?
Mm-mm.
Served 30, 40 years as a representative and then as a senator and then was elected president. Never had a job, never produced anything, never employed anybody, So, maybe that's
minus
why.
Hunter, you know what I mean?
Oh. Hey.
Yeah, it's, we'll see. I think their whole reason, because they're flirting with doing something to stop the insider trading.
Oh, we got to do something, man.
Yeah, well, I think the reason why they're finally kind of capitulating on that issue is because that's how they push off the term limit talk.
Well, I don't know about that. I think the reason they're talking about that is because we have such access to information now.
Oh, yeah, we can see it.
50 years ago, you would have had to have known exactly what paper to pull to see what they were claiming and, what transactions had happened in their portfolios. Now that stuff, you can have access to it like that.
As soon as they file it.
Yes, absolutely.
And they don't have to file it right away. There's like a 30
I think it's 30 days, right?
But as soon as they file it, you can see it.
You can see it. Anybody with a computer can see it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
people just spend
that
their
stuff
time rolling it up into a very easily digestible summary.
Absolutely.
It is completely bonkers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's so depressing.
I'm done with the internet.
I'm so done.
I'm done with the internet this week. I'll be back on the internet come Monday. I'm done with the internet this week. Last thing, hey, don't forget to set your clocks back. All right?
Oh, yeah.
Time's changing this weekend. Okay.
This weekend, or did it already happen?
No,
it's
this
on the
weekend.
way.
This episode will not drop till Thursday, so if you the warning will be too late.
Somebody already is late to work.
No,
Somebody's first sergeant.
No, somebody got there real early.
Oh,
because we're going the other way. Shit.
That's even worse.
It was dark last
their
week.
Teeth. They're like 3 a.m. What the hell? All right. Well, we'll be praying for you guys this week, praying that you guys go vote.
Yeah.
That is it from us, Christ is King. See you next week. Bye.